All right, guys. Welcome to the Lunch Break podcast here at FNGO, September 19th, 2025. Hope you guys are doing well. I know it'll take a few moments for some of you guys to hop on, but in the meantime, we'll go ahead and, hey, make sure if you're watching this on YouTube, you like and subscribe. And on TikTok over there, make sure you follow us over there as well. It is Friday. Good grief, the weekend is finally here. And I am so looking forward to this weekend. Got a lot to talk about. Got a lot to do this weekend. Hope you guys do as well, whether you're fishing or hunting. You guys are more than welcome to share what you're going to do on here. It is a free-for-all Friday. So what's up, Coleman? You know how that works, guys. Hey, we'll talk about anything you want to talk about today because it is Friday. We've made it through the week. And I tell you what, I felt it this week. What's up, Tony? Hope you got home okay last night at a reasonable time. We're going to talk about last night's Livewell podcast. You know, we had Kevin Underwood on there. Lots of stuff. I think we were trying to kind of compare what we had seen with a Brian Latimer video to somebody that's on the water every day that really is not out there trying to get clicks on social media or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? And the chug bug modifications. Boys, let me just be honest with you. Kevin and I are good friends. Sometimes it takes, even with the best of friendships, it takes a little time for them to finally reveal some of those secrets. Now, he did reveal one modification that he makes. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I can just tell you this. Let's just all I want you to do is think about the hookup ratio on a chug bug. And if you start thinking about the hookup ratio and why you may be missing some fish, I'll let your imagination take it from there. You'll have to do your own homework on that. But it is interesting to watch a lot of guys, how they tinker and toy with their baits. Lots of guys that have been on the Livewell have talked about doing that. And sometimes they work out and sometimes they don't, but they're always trying something. Let's see who's in the comment section. Yeah, so Tony, good. It wasn't that bad. Harrington, hello, I'm fishing Wedowie Sunday. Any juice I need to know? Well, Tony Collum is in the chat, and that's the man you want to know about. So Tony, if you could help out our buddy, Mr. WB Harrington over there, with some juice for Wedowie. That's the proper way to say it. Tony says it wrong. He says Wedowie. We all know it's Wedowie. But what are you guys going to be doing this weekend? Seriously, what's going on? I'll tell you what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be hunting. At least tomorrow morning. And maybe before church on Sunday morning. I've got the itch to go out there and sling a string and a stick through the air and just see what happens. But I hope it will finally start cooling off. So, DP, it looks like you're going to be fishing on Carter's. Yeah, last night was a great show. And John G., of course, is listening and fishing right now, as he just about always is. And let's go ahead and place our bets. He's probably on a river somewhere. Justin Ortiz has a club tournament out on the lake tomorrow. So, again, like I say at the end of every show on the live, well, you guys make sure you're safe out there for sure. But have some fun and enjoy it. Cam, he's kind of jumping right in on last night's live. Well, with him saying topwater and bait fish style baits, would throwing a Seville Magic Swimmer this afternoon be a good idea or a waste of time? Plan on hitting creeks and mouths of tuna on Ala Tuna. So I don't think it's a waste of time. I saw Clay Cunningham, who is a well-known striper guide here on Lake Lanier. He was kind of saying, hey, look, with the heat, he was kind of talking, this is a striper guy. So, you know, his report's about stripers, but they're still down rigging, still using their lead core, but they're keeping rods with Seville Magic Swimmers and stuff tied on right now so that when they get in the right locations, they can still catch fish. And I still think they'll catch fish, you know, over brush piles, maybe over points, over humps, or any of that rock Alatuna's got. It probably wouldn't hurt to throw it a couple times. I'm not saying it's going to work, but I mean, you never know let the fish tell you what mood they're in. But yeah, try it. You can reel it fast across the top for sure. I would say definitely speed. And if you heard, Kevin last night was just top water, top water, top water, top water, top water. He said, John G says, I know him well. He's on the Oconee River out of Milledgeville. Yeah, I know you, dude, because like every time you get on, it's like, hey, I'm here, I'm listening, but I'm fishing. It's like I'm very jealous of you. John G is some kind of detailing savant. The boat cleanup was unreal, John. Okay, we need to check that out. So he's good at that. I got a boat that needs some kind of detailing. Needs a basically redoing for sure. But Tony looks like he's got you out there with Weedawee and all that. What part of Lanier would you bank fish? Did you ask that question the other day, Parker? Because we talked about it. Seems like somebody asked that question. We were talking about it. And that's on TikTok. No, okay. Well, somebody asked that the other day. Interesting that you asked. If I was going to bank fish, given what I know, I would go down to Little Ridge, which is just basically across from Mary Alice Park in the Bald Ridge Marina section. Because from the boat ramp to the right, you basically can walk the whole entire point out through there, and a lot of rock just right off of it. I know there's one spot that as soon as you pull out of the boat ramp on Little Ridge and you make an immediate right and you go 50 yards, if that far, there is a little point right there that's got a lot of rock and it kind of curves around. We hit that a lot. Now, generally, we're in a boat, but we go across that and then fish back towards it and everything. But there's no reason why you couldn't, being on the bank, cast out and work your bait back in. I've caught a lot of spots and some good spots right there. And generally, if I have a tournament, an electric-only tournament out of Little Ridge, I like to be right there first. Absolutely want to fish there first because I know there's fish there, right? And so that's where I would try. I'm not going to say that you're going to catch the biggest bass in Lake Lanier. But if you're on the bank, that's got good access, and then you can work your way around. And I would hit it. Now, if you hit it on Saturday, you're going to have to deal with this little beach area. And you're going to have to deal with some people that will be laying out, sunning, wading in the water a little bit. But concentrate on those rocky places. And then you can go across to Mary Alice. Just hop in your car, drive around to Mary Alice. And it's got pretty good bank access as well. In fact, it's got one real long point that everybody hits. I think you'll be able to catch some fish. And again, I'm not going to guarantee it. Alex Purrs on YouTube says 6 Mile, War Hill, Young Deer for the bank. All good places. And what's up, Dave Raleigh? How you doing today? So what did you guys think of what Kevin said last night? And I want to specifically talk about compared to the other social media individual that said it's kind of a scam. And a lot of us kind of, we didn't believe it. But listening to Kevin talk last night, there is definitely a difference in his mind and in his opinion from summertime patterns to fall patterns, and a lot of it was dictated by the bait. And you guys heard, if you didn't listen to it, you need to go back and listen to it. I tell you what, both live wells this week, man, some juice got dropped on both of them. Franco on Tuesday, Kevin last night, absolutely. Now, Coleman says, I do trust Kevin more for Lanier, and Kevin's intentions are pure. I will say this too. If you remember, whichever lunch break it was we were talking about earlier in the week, where I brought up what B-Lat said. And I put it in the comment section. I asked you guys, do you believe in that? And Tim Hancock, old Grumpy Tim, jumped in, and I love Tim Hancock. I like calling him Grumpy, though. I think I can get away with it. I think we did. Did you watch Brian's whole video? Yes, we did. We watched it. And there's about 5 or 6 guys that we know, we all watched it. So, and listen, you may disagree with our take on it. And so, listen, this is a safe space. You can put it in the comment section that you disagree with us 100%. We're totally good with it. We will talk it out, right? The way it was supposed to be done. What's up, Tough Knuckles Fishing? How you doing, buddy? But Tim said, we talked about fall transitions and all that, and he did make an interesting point. He said on deep lakes, absolutely. On shallow lakes, not so much. So maybe in some lakes there is a big difference, like in Lanier. And I think herring fishery, even though he's up on Hartwell a lot, so that's kind of a similar fishery. Captain J. Morgan said, I cut it off 5 minutes in. B-Lat has that privilege. he thinks what he says is the right way and nothing else matters. I don't, maybe, maybe. I didn't look at it that way, but maybe. The video or the sales ad. Now, he did push his fish app a lot. But I think it's interesting what Tim said. Deep lakes, absolutely. Definitely experienced a turnover, all that. Shallow lakes, not so much. Rob said, I ran into a Karen at the ramp last night. Well, do tell, brother. Do let us know what happened last night at the ramp. Brett Ashcraft, shell crackers are on fire and the oxbows off the Altamont. I want to get down there with that. That's my favorite kind of fishing. And I've never been down there and fished there. I think that would be absolutely awesome. Cody Jones. I know I've only really gotten to fish Rocky PFA since I've been in Georgia, but I'll tell you this month has been the best fishing I've done in a long time. It's all been on top water and a few on the jig. I told you, listen. I told you Rocky Mountain, when it's on, it's on. When it's on, it's on. I'm also coming from Ohio, but this month's fishing has been pretty fun. Well, listen, we will not hold it against you that you are from Ohio. And we are glad that you're down here in God's country, in the promised land. But, for sure, Rocky Mountain's awesome. Now, Big Long Johns, I swear to God, I love you guys' names. I think there's inherent marketing with any and all fishing lures. If I get excited watching a fall transition bait video and that triggers me to buy some new baits, who cares? I'm not hurting anyone. True. Now, you 100% are correct. 100%. I think his take of it was that they're doing it only for you to buy that, for sure. And, Kevin was pretty simple with his. I think he said top water, and then he said a minnow. Pretty much was all he's throwing for the next foreseeable future. And guys, you got to realize too, topwater hasn't really kicked really good on Lanier this year, and on a lot of the lakes. We've discussed all that. But I do agree that, look, I'm not one that buys things because a pro tells me to buy them. I've made that pretty clear. I've never bought a bait because I watched a pro tell me to buy a bait. I might be one of the few. I know a lot of guys do follow that. That's the reason why they get sponsored 100%. But I also, too, I don't take for granted everything a pro says either. You know what I'm saying? It's like just because a guy that's fished on the elites or something, or that's won a major tournament and all that says you need to do this or this is what's happening, I'll be honest with you. I trust guys like Kevin that are on the water every day, and really you guys. I pay attention to what you guys say because, look, you're just like me and you're out on the water and you're just trying to figure it out. And so when you figure out something that works, and you guys are always so good to say, hey, I was catching them on this, or this worked for me, or this didn't work for me. And sometimes I do feel like the best information that you can get in fishing is what's not working. Everybody wants to talk about what is working. Very few people will say, well, listen, I tried, just say the Seville. Man, I threw the Seville for 8 hours and I didn't get a follow-up. And I hear another guy saying, I threw a Seville and I wouldn't get. Okay, then we start putting that together. And you're just guys like us out there trying. And we can kind of figure out a pattern. I actually trust you guys more than I would I know it sounds crazy, a professional angler. Now, there are a few. I'm talking about, I'm throwing it down from 80,000 feet, like the whole scope. Because we know a bunch of them. And we know that they've got contracts where they've got to push certain baits. Let me go. Let's see. Let me hit these comments real quick. Dave, I'm way up in Vermont, so our fishing is a lot different. But I love tuning into you guys. Keep up with good work, man. We love you too. That's awesome. Appreciate you coming in. And you need to teach us about the ways of Vermont. But I want to hit Derek's. I took Brian's video as geared for people who aren't grasping the concept of oxygen content and percentage of fishing, and encouraging people to think about why the fish are doing what they do. Now, listen, I'll grant you that. He did, but from his thumbnails and the way he started that video off, two totally different things, right? When you put the word scam out there, That does not say what would have been, hey, guys, I'd like to do a video. I want to teach you guys about, about oxygen content, the percentage of fishing going in the fall. But that's not the way it was presented. You could be 100% right on your assessment of the video. But I do think if you're being fair, you would say that he could have done a little better of a job on how he presented that. Because he basically did say a lot of things like, this is not happening, this is not happening. I mean, we watched the video. I do think that the oxygen part, and even the guys that don't like the video, we did talk about the oxygen part. So we definitely did see some of what you're seeing. But I do think that while it may have been geared for that, I don't think it was intended to be presented that way for you to click the chain. You know what I'm saying? To click. And I'm not saying B-Lad is a bad guy at all. At all. I don't know him personally. I watch his videos. I think he puts out some really good stuff. But on this one, knowing what we know, I just kind of disagree a little bit. I'll be honest, I used to fall into the trap of wanting to listen to videos from the pros. But for example, once you told me to go to Rocky, I just simply went fishing, did what I thought would work. Sometimes the best way is to figure it out yourself, right? Tony says intent and delivery are both about packaging. He did a very poor job, and I listened with an open mind. Tony does listen. He is probably a little more open-minded than I am. Then Cody said, back to the Rocky Mountain, and then I upgraded my PB 2 different times this year. I have 0 electronics and just simply go fishing and try to let the fish tell me what they want and where they're at. At the end of the day, with or without electronics, that's what we're all trying to do, 100%. Big Long Johns, I've historically liked his videos, especially fishing with the sun. But, man, I'm just getting tired of controversy and clickbait titles. I want more talk about what is good with everything. Yeah, and I'm not saying it was a terribly negative video. And I'm not saying there was no good information in it that you could use. Not saying that at all. But I am saying that what he was talking about with oxygen and everything, that's like just one part of the pie. One part of the entire puzzle. Kevin presented last night other options and other pieces and bites of that puzzle. So that's kind of the thing is like when you say something is a marketing scam, which those words were used, right? I believe I said that right. You're now basically saying these people are telling you wrong. This is why it is. And you just got to, I just think there was a better way of doing it. Maybe that's just what I'm trying to say. Captain J. Morgan, I love B-Lap, but that was clickbait 101. Yeah, and, I understand he's got an app. I understand he's a businessman. I'm all for capitalism. I'm all for everybody making a buck. I get it. But a lot of people have mentioned that in listening to that video, they were turned off by the amount of times he said, get the fish app, or it's on the fish app, all that. I don't know. Maybe it was just all about the packaging, right? Maybe that's just what it is. Let's see. So Rob's back with his Karen that he met last night. So I guess this was at the ramp. What lake were you on, Rob? Are you up north? Ain't y'all pre-fishing somewhere or getting ready, practicing? She went off on me saying, you bass guys think you know everything. I have every right to do what I want. I said, you do have every right, but have common sense goes a long way in life. And she kept on fussing. Then I went off on her and put her in her place. Felt good going off on someone. Well, what started it, Rob? Maybe I missed the comment. What actually started it? Was it, you said it was at a ramp. Were you loading, unloading? How did that go? Spotted Bass, present, wolfing down lunch and listening. Appreciate you joining us. Justin Ortiz, not to get off topic. What time is the shop open till today? I'm going to try to make it over there after work. Say hello, buy some braid instead of answering those impossible questions. What time do you get off? Let's just put it that way. What time do you get off? I will probably be here till, I don't know, 3:30 today. I gotta take off. So I don't want you to drive all the way over here and I'm not here. Just to be fair and to be honest. I don't want to leave and then you drive all the way over here. Now, if it's going to be close to that time, I can hang for a little bit. Just let me know. Just let me know what time you get off of work. But yeah, Rob, let us know exactly what started that. I'll be honest with you. I've never had a Karen incident. I've never had an argument from a person not fishing a tournament that I was in. You get what I'm saying? Now, I have had, and it was only one time in an electric-only tournament, a fella get upset with Josh and I because we were on a spot and we were not giving it up. It was a tournament that we won at Rocky. And it was that little, on East Antioch, there is a cove that's got a bunch of standing timber in it. And we had found a bunch of bedded bass back there. And we wouldn't give it up. And we might stray a little bit when we'd go right back to it. And we just stayed there all day. And that kind of upset a couple of people. But we didn't fuss out on the water, nor have I ever been fussed at. Go back at my comments. Okay, I must have missed it talking, Rob. I'll try to go up there. DP says, one time at Weiss, but I didn't engage her. So let's go back up there and see. Okay, I got back from testing the boat out for my event coming up and had a lady back in her trailer, and she used both ramps. I told her nicely it would be ethical to use one ramp instead of blocking both. Okay, I got you now. I guess I was talking about Derek's comment, and I totally missed that one. Well, now, I have seen people argue about that. I tell you when it happens a lot, kayakers. Not the ones that are in the know that know what they're doing, but occasionally you will get the kayaker that will back his down the ramp. This happens at Hickory Log a lot because there's only one ramp. They will back down. They will unload their kayak right in the middle of the ramp, pull their truck up. Then they will take the time to, let's just say, put all their stuff on their kayak and get everything ready at that point instead of doing it on the trailer as they backed it down. I've seen that a time or two. And I've seen some people kind of not knock out, drag down fight, but I've seen a little bit of barking when it comes to that. Another one that really gets people, and this has nothing to do with Karen, but is backing down on a ramp during a morning tournament and you not putting your lights off. And you're blind, and so you got 2 or 3 ramps, and you got the guy that's always in the middle, it seems like, and he doesn't turn his lights off. And sometimes it's a guy that's never fished. I've seen it before. It's like their first time ever at a tournament. And, boy, I tell you what, you want to get guys barking at the ramp. That's one thing that gets them barking for sure. But, yeah, taking up 2, totally get it. Totally get it. But I always tell a guy that when they come in, they're like, hey, I'd like to get into those electric-only tournaments with you. And I'm like, hey, man, yeah, we'd love to have you come fish. And then they'll start asking, what's it like? What do you do? How are the guys? And I'm like, listen, as long as when you get there in the morning and you back in your boat in, you turn your lights off. If you turn your lights off, man, you're golden. Nobody's going to say a word to you. If you back down and don't turn your lights off and other people are trying to back down, you're not going to have a pleasant experience. That's what I say. We laugh and shake our head at people at boat ramps. It's a circus show for sure. Yeah. Oh, it is. Absolutely. And you live in the fish. What's up on TikTok? It is absolutely something that will just, and there are guys in this world, and I know a couple of them, that they're not social butterflies. And in crowd situations, they get a little anxiety going on. And sometimes those gentlemen are tasked with backing the boat in for their partner. So they're nervous to start off with, right? They're absolutely nervous to start off with. And then it just becomes an absolute shit show. Absolutely. Because of backing up forward, and especially if it's a single axle trailer, a short one. God bless the guys that back in those jet skis and all that. We've seen them guys too. Let's just say, I don't want to call the guy's name out, but I know one guy that was like, his blood pressure, and the secondhand embarrassment coming from me was just too much for the guy to handle. It was absolutely no clue. Uncle Misfit. Last week had 2 guys getting off the lake. One guy yelling at the other made the buddy walk home. No clue as to what started their fight. Oh, dude. Now listen. Yeah. You and your partner get up there, you just have a bad day on the water, somebody says something, you walk your ass home. That's awful right there. And you know what? At the same time, kind of humorous if you ask me. But yeah, I mean, the light thing is crazy. DP says auto headlights. A lot of folks don't know how to turn off the auto feature. And that is true. That is true. John G says, mine is trailered. Takes me literally 1 minute to launch and recover mine. Yeah, and John G, like I said, you do it the right way. But I have seen them guys drop it down, pull up, and then they think because, and I'm just picking on a few kayak guys, not you guys as a whole. But those individuals think that that's the time and place for them to get their boat ready, get their kayak ready. And then they'll walk to the truck, bring their rods, set the rods in. Then they'll walk back to the truck and get a tack. You know what I'm saying? And then a battery and all that. Oh, you ought to see the guys getting mad about that. And I'm surprised nobody's gone to jail over it. Generally, cooler heads prevail, but it gets sketchy at times. And I see it about once or twice a year. And then earlier this year on Lake Lanier, bless this woman's heart. This couple we were bringing in, and I think it was at Lanier. We were bringing in to get ready for the weigh-in. Everybody was coming in electric-only tournament. And they had one of the ramps blocked. This woman was trying to back up. Her husband was trying to trailer this big boat, not a wake boat, but just, you know how guys get. They buy these boats that are way too damn big, and they don't know how to handle them. They definitely can't trailer them. And he was just blistering his wife as if it was her fault that his ass couldn't pull that boat up onto the trailer correctly. And he'd have to get back and go forward and get back, and he'd tell her to come back, go up. It took them 30-something minutes. And he is just absolutely, and I'm telling you what, guys, when I say blistering her, he is. And I'm like sitting there like, she ain't driving the boat, dude. The trailer's in the water. Then when they got out, finally, after all that time, I think he's driving now. He pulls up. We're kind of weighing in our fish to the side, and he's got to come up between us and the lane. He hit one of our guys' trailers. I mean, it was just an absolute, one of those situations. And I don't think he cared at all. I don't think he cared at all about our thoughts. But when he hit that trailer, he found out really quick from that gentleman that wasn't acceptable. And these new LED headlights are super bright on low beam for sure. Justin, if you're off about 2, I'll wait on you. I'll give you about 3. I can do that. Andy Miller, there's a lady on Chattooga that releases her ankle biter to yap at you while you get close to her dock. I feel bad for the dog because he gets so stressed out. Let the dog do the dirty work, right? Let the dog do the dirty work. Yeah, I know. There's people like that. I do remember us fishing. I've never had anybody come down and fuss because we were fishing their dock, but I have seen quite a few people come out onto their patios or something and watch intently. And I always, whoever I'm fishing with, like, all right, maybe we don't need to skip this dock. We don't want to ring the dinner bell, anything like that. But I've been fortunate with that. Let's see. Andy, you don't bark back. You should go back up at midnight and start barking to wake her up. Cam, listen now. Come on now. That will get you in trouble. Good idea, but it gets you in trouble. Fred Ashcraft, everyone should have to take a class on boat ramp procedures when buying a boat. Hell, they need a class on how to drive the boat, how to do the basic maintenance of a boat, and how to back it up. But it is, unfortunately, it is just the way people think, hey, and COVID did a lot of this. I think we need to go get a boat or jet skis. Guys with jet skis, I watched a guy try to back a jet ski up, and granted, very short, and the way the trailer sets, it was just a single jet ski right behind it. And he was in an older vehicle that did not have one of the, new backup cameras on there. He'd go 2 feet and that jet ski would kick to the left about 5. He'd pull up and he'd kick it to the right and kick it to the left. He couldn't figure that thing out. And finally, he, honest to God, pulled up to the stop, put the car in park, got out, and he had another buddy, I guess, waiting. He goes, "You back it up." He couldn't do it. He had enough. Might be wrong, but multi-boat tournaments, and I'm by myself, I dump it and catch a ride to my boat for sure. Yeah, a lot of guys do that for sure. Boat ramps can be funny sometimes, and sometimes it pisses you off. Generally, if you're there, and a lot of time, if it's not slowing you down, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can let some of it slide and becomes funny. If like your club's getting ready to blast off in 10 minutes, or you're way in, you know how it is, end of the day, absolutely. That's when it gets a little bit irritating. We can't get them to drive on the street with any sense of safety, 100%. Fred, 90% of those guys would fail. Tony said, listen, if you got a dog, if they send their dog down, a pack of bologna will stop that dog from barking. He'll be your best friend the next time. Next time you come up, she lets him out. He'll be down there on that dock just smiling at you, tongue hanging out, tail a wagging. He's wanting that bologna. Hell, if you threw bologna at me, Tony, I might do that. I might smile at you and just wag my tail. You know what I mean? Okay. What is the etiquette with boat ramps regarding headlights? I don't own a boat, but I want to know for when I ride with others. So here's what it is. Okay. In the mornings, a lot of the ramps around here have very poor lighting. Very poor lighting. But if you've got a ramp that's got like 2 or 3 slips to come down in, when you back your truck in and you back your trailer down, generally you're on an angle, right? So if you don't turn your headlights off, your lights are shining straight up the hill. And so the guy that wants to get in beside you on either side, when he turns and tries to start backing up, especially to get on the slope of the ramp going down, like they can't see. You actually get blinded by the headlights. And they don't have to be on bright. They can be on low. It just makes it very hard for the people beside you to back down. So what a lot of guys do is when they turn the boat and get ready, a lot of guys already have their headlights off, but most guys will take their headlights and turn them down or turn it down to just where you got the little parking lights on. Now, your boat lights are still on, so you can kind of see that backing up. But it's just your headlights shining up that really blinds people. And that's the part that gets a lot of people really, really irritated. So that's just kind of the deal. You keep them off, you put your boat in, and then as you're going up, if nobody's backing down as you're going up, yeah, you can turn them on and see where you're going. But it happens, and it generally happens with somebody that's new to the club or new to bass fishing, or sometimes it could be somebody just dumping another type of boat, and they don't really they don't think about it. Now, Tony says with that woman, that Karen that sends her dog out, if she sees you feeding it, she'll quit sending out Precious to do the dirty work. Now, Tony, if she came out the next time, would you throw the bologna at her? I'm just asking. What would you do to get her to stop? Not all, but most jet ski drivers are, I think you meant to say princesses. They think they can run 10 foot by you. Well, that is, yeah. Me and Kevin, speaking of Kevin, when we fished that last tournament together, we had some of those kids like that. And I mean, now, granted, Kevin fishes a lot of humps and a lot of offshore stuff that to the average person, they don't know what's going on under the water. They don't see that he's casting this way and he's on that hump. And they think it's just deep water and they drive on by. Sometimes you can and Kevin's laid back. He'll grin at you. I know what he wants to say, but he's such a good man. He don't say it. But sometimes I can give them a pass when you're out there in deep water. It's when you're fishing a point, everybody in the world knows you're facing and you're casting to that point or to something like that, and they come between you. That's when the old plug knockers come into play that all you guys talk about, the old plug knockers. I have guys that buy these cheaper plug knockers I got. They say for the sole intent and purpose of deterring jet skis. So I don't know. Now, DP says, depends on what she looks like if I throw the bologna at her. Danny, you dirty old man. Those Starbucks at the woman. Jonah said, what fluoro do you guys recommend on a skimmer? I think, didn't Kevin say last night? Didn't he say last night 8, 10? I want to say I think it got brought up. I don't remember what he said. What would you guys throw on a skimmer? What pound fluoro would you guys throw? And what are the details for the December 6th tournament? Well, of course, Toys for Tots, December 6th. Definitely Friday, you can tell. I totally forgot to talk about it at the beginning of the show. Out of Laurel Park. You can fish as a team. You can fish solo in your boat. I believe it's $80 per boat. 50 goes to how do we do that? No, that's Ryan's tournament. You got to bring 2 toys. The first place prize is guaranteed by the sponsors, and then the remaining, depending on how many boats, they'll pay down so many spots. That's what it is. But you got to bring like 2 toys, and it's a good time. And if we do it the same way we did last year, you will blast off in the order that you have signed up. So if you sign up first, you will be the first boat to blast off. And it's just a really great time to help the Toys for Tots. And again, the kids at Christmas time. I mean, think about it. I just be honest with you. I never had a Christmas I didn't have anything. So I don't know that feeling. And I wouldn't want to know that feeling. But that happens to a lot of kids out there. And so we're just trying to do our part, Big Shanty Bassmasters, just to help prevent that as best we can. So, and if you are not a boater, we can try to find somebody to pair up with you. For sure. We can try to find somebody to pair up with you so that you can have the opportunity to fish. We'll try to do that as best we can. You guys keep the comments are really flying along up there. So, okay, $80 per boat and new toys, $60 to the creel, $20 to the big fish. I couldn't remember, Danny, how we split up that entry fee. I couldn't remember. Now, Captain Morgan says, I throw 12 to 15. I swear Kevin may have said braid. He did. That's right, Captain Morgan. He did say straight braid on the skimmer. That was what was throwing me off. Now that you said that, I do believe I'll have to go back and watch it when I cut some socials from it. But I do believe he said straight braid. Because I remember thinking when he said that, in my mind, like, ooh, that's different. I think you're 100% right there, Morgan. Atlanta Outdoors. A hoverboarder was buzzing around me in a no wake, making as much wake as a small boat. He hit some shallow rocks and got launched onto the bank. He got up and was fine. Looked embarrassed. Well, wouldn't you be? Absolutely. He throws a leader on the braid. Tracy Coker said, yeah, okay. But I think Tracy, last night he slipped up and just said braid and forgot the leader. Because I remember when he said that, thinking in my head, that's just different. So that might be, and that's what Captain Martin, it stuck with me because I thought the same, that it was different. Maybe I'll ask Kevin, he might pop up on here if he ain't out on the water. Kid, that's funny. Danny, what can we get you for Christmas? Salted caramel Crown Royal. I'm simple, man. I'm simple. You ain't got to get me nothing. You keep showing up to the damn show when I do it. That's what I get Christmas every day. I get Christmas every day. What scale do you like? Or anyone in the comments, what scale do you use? I've looked at a couple. I didn't realize how pricey they can get. Cody, I do use the Bubba scales, the Pro model. I actually went to Red Crest, met Ken. It's KP in the comments down there. They had a really good deal on them. So I got that and the ball set, the cold tags. I got a really good deal on that. Really good deal. Kevin uses a short leader on all his top waters. Yeah, yeah, Andy. I mean, that's what now that you guys say that, definitely thinking that. But I think last night when he said it, he probably meant that, but he said I throw braid. I have to go. Well, you all have to go back and watch it again. FNGO new sponsor, Preparation H, helps with the butt itch in time for deer season. That's because last night I told Ken, he said something smart in the comment section. I was like, I hope you get an ass itch that won't stop. Yeah. How did it go, Ken? Did you get one? Ron and I will get with you next week on other details. Yeah, we need to get that up and going. Anything to make you laugh, 100%. Tyler says, I used the $100 Bubba scale. Yeah, and listen, and I've used the Rapala ones fine. I've just noticed every once in a while with the Rapalas that just for no reason whatsoever, they just won't work. You take the battery out, change it. I mean, whatever. But it's like I just always have a lot of problems with them working. Now, I will say this about those pro Bubba scales and all that. Now, you can tilt them the wrong way, and I mean, you've got to be pretty precise is not the word, but I mean, you got to hold them right for them to work too. Um, but I listen. I always used the cheap one until I got out there to Red Crest and got that great deal on them. Which you can find good deals at some of these shows, some of these expos, um, on some scales. Problem is, and a lot of you guys um, are better, and especially like Kevin Thornton. He takes care of his stuff like immaculately well. I am not that guy. I'm pretty rough on everything. Um, Jimmy Hoffa is probably buried behind the back seat of my truck. I've got corn that's from a deer feeder in the bed of my truck that's growing, trying to sprout like I'm fermenting, trying to make some Ezekiel bread or something in the back. I'm just not very good when it comes to my truck and rods and boats, and I need to be better. So I'm surprised that the Bubba scales have lasted me like at least a season. That was the one thing that I bought that I did try to take care of. Sometimes it doesn't pay to own a tackle shop because when you lose something, you can say, "Well, I know where I can get another one." I've lost many a thing. Got to be fishing with a guy, and I'm hungry. He goes, "Oh, let me get it." I'm like, "No," and I'll break it for he has a chance. I'm like, "I know where I can get another one." So sometimes that attitude gets me in a lot of trouble with that. So maybe the Rapala scales were fine. I just didn't take care of them. So that Bubba Pro is great. It actually shows you if you're off level for a more precise measurement. That's what I was saying, Tracy. Like you got to hold that thing just right. Just right. I learned that the hard way. I like, what in the hell? Of course, because like guys, listen, some of you guys actually read the instructions when you buy a new product. I do not. I don't know. I guess I just think I've got it already printed in my mind as to how to use the thing. Throw some batteries in there, hang the fish, it ought to work. I didn't know about that leveling feature on that. And I was sitting there just struggling like crazy. Berkeley scales suck. That I can agree with. They do. I have an old X Tool scale that seems to be pretty accurate. If I replace it, guess I'll be with the Bubba ones. I like the cold tags on the Bubba too. I mean, it is a very well built product. I like how you operate, Danny. But Cody, listen, dude, I'm telling you what, if I wasn't married or if I didn't have good friends like you guys to keep me straight, I'd be walking around just in a circle. I'd probably be that old man sitting on the side of the road just waving at people. I wouldn't know what to do. Phase fishing. Yes, Berkeley scales do suck. And listen, Atlanta Outdoors says even the Berkeley ones, they never last long, even when you baby them. Yeah, I mean, that's just it. And for the price that you pay for those things, they ought to work every time. Now, listen, I have, because I went through some of them Rapala scales, I did go to just old freaking, at one point we had a scale that was used in a feed store because I saw it in an antique store. And we tested it out, and it was pretty damn accurate. And I'm like, I can't mess this up. No batteries, no nothing. Now, it probably wasn't great with ounces. And I know several times over the last few years, we just got out the old beam. Hey, which one's the smallest? We'll just keep beaming them. I bought a Catch Commander like 5 years ago and still use it to this day. It's pretty accurate. My weight might be even a few ounces different from the MPFL scales. I won a Rapala scale off of Fantasy Fishing a couple years ago. Find it difficult to operate. Caught the biggest flathead I ever caught, and the Berkeley scale wouldn't work. Had to use a rusty old spring scale for the best guess. Yeah. I use my culling beam. It takes a lot less time. And listen, the only problem with the culling beam is if you're fishing a lake like Hickory Log, where everybody's going to catch their 5 fish, and everybody's going to be within 6. Now, except for the guys that finish first or second, they always find the kicker. But if you've ever fished a hickory log tournament, you know what I'm saying. Let's say you got 20 boats. Boat 5 down to 20, everybody's going to have 5 bass, and they're all going to weigh between 6.5 and 7 pounds. All 15 of those teams. And so when you start pulling out that cold beam, man, you were just absolutely begging for an ounce. And that's the only time where that might bite you in the butt, especially when you get 2 and it doesn't move. And you're like, well, I think that one's prettier. Or you're like, I think that one might live longer. You know what I'm saying? That's my kind of limit. Oh, yeah, for sure. I've had a Rapala scale that calls for 3 years now, but I take the batteries out when I'm not using it. Jeremy, that's probably the right thing to do. And again, it's not what I'm going to do. I do remember leaving my boat out and got a lot of rain. Y'all don't know, guys, y'all don't know how many soft plastics I've thrown away, scales that I left out there. And then, it drives my wife crazy. I take medicine for it, and I still don't remember to go take things out. And now, of course, Adam W. Fishing. There's always one guy out there, right? There's always just one guy out there that figures it out. I have a Berkeley scale that's over 10 years old, and it works fine. And listen, I'm sure there's a bunch of guys out there that it is. If it touches my hands, it's not going to work. And it could be operator error, right? It could be operator error. Are you supposed to take the batteries out of the Bubba scales? I do. Now, that is something I do because it's like that. It ain't like the regular batteries. I got the all hail, the battery pack that goes in it. Ounce and inches, get all you can get, LOL. There's 100 ways I could go with that comment. I'm not going to because it's Friday. I probably should because nobody remember it and you all forgive me or forget about it by Monday. Doug Rice, love my Bubba scale and cull tags. Makes culling a lot easier if I have something to cull. That's true. Tracy Coker says that Rapala touchscreen isn't touchy enough. You have to press too hard sometimes to move the weight to the number spot. Yeah, I just think that Rapala could do a little bit better job. I mean, they don't have to go all out and try to make another Bubba Pro scale or anything like that, but they could. So, some of them, it's got a crooked number when you buy it on the front. If the front number is a crooked number, it ought to be some quality to it. Lithium battery. Yeah, that's what I thought. I kind of operate life like you, Danny, unfortunately. I try to be better. Heck, I have a Ducket Ghost rod with 2 missing eyes, but I still catch fish on it and make accurate casts. See, the difference between you and me is that I would have probably put that Ducket somewhere and forgot where it was at. Y'all want a true story? I promise on my children's head, this is a true story. I got here this morning. I had to run, drop off some turtle box Rangers to a guy that's going to use them for an auction. I did that. I had to go to Alpharetta. I did that, come back up, stop by the Macedonia O'Reilly's and got a new harmonic balancer for that Jeep. I'm going to change it this weekend after I get out of the woods. Come here to the shop, run in. I get here about 9 o'clock. See you, Tracy. Get here about 9 o'clock. Lights are out, everything. And generally, I'll open up the door and leave the doors unlocked till about 11:30. Well, we've got this new lock down in the basement that you can open by your phone. And so I came in through the basement. But you still have to use a key for the deadbolt to open the front. And you can unbolt it from the inside. Guys, I lost my keys in the shop. I knew I had them because the hell I drove here, right? Could not find my keys. So I just tore the shop apart. Then I'd run in and, hey, I got to make a post here. I got to tell everybody the show. Got to do the show post, get everything ready. Boom. And then I'd look for my keys a little bit. Couldn't find them. Well, when I got here this morning, there was one of the things was sitting right here, and I sat down here for a second. And I set my keys right here. I found them about, 20 minutes before the show. That's how I run, guys. That is my life in a nutshell. Danny, were you fishing today? No. Where am I fishing? I'm not fishing. I'm going to do some work, get my stuff ready, and then I'm going to go hunting in the morning with my son, who is now finally getting into hunting after 20-something years. How many of you guys got kids? And out of curiosity, how many of you guys that love fishing have kids that don't like to fish? I've got 3. My oldest 2 are daughters. I let them slide. My middle one, she would probably go with me a time or two, but then I got mad at her the last time because she couldn't throw a dadgum spinning rod right. Danny, I think that's all of us. But my son, he played sports. He's athletic. He did all that stuff. He hates fishing. He hates fishing. If he was sitting right here, and I mean, honest to goodness, and I say, Trey, let's go fishing, you would get an F you. That is the boringest thing I've ever done in my life. But he likes to duck hunt all of a sudden. And so he'll go where he duck hunts. He hasn't been out to the flyaway where the real duck hunting goes. No, he'll go to Lake Lanier with my brother-in-law, and they'll sit on a bank waiting for the 2 ducks on Lake Lanier to fly over that never do. And he thinks that's amazingly exciting. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, where did I go wrong with this kid? But now he is finally getting the itch to go deer hunting and everything. Now, the patience thing, because that generation is not patient at all. So I said, we're going to go in the morning. Yeah, we can go hunt till about 9. Till about 9. It's early bow season. Maybe I'll get it. My father-in-law that taught me how to hunt, if you went in the morning, he didn't leave a stand. It didn't matter how hot it was till 1 o'clock. I knew wherever we went that I was hunting from daylight till 1 o'clock. He didn't fish he didn't fish all the time. He didn't hunt in the afternoons. He didn't like to trail deer at night, but he would hunt till 1 o'clock. And so it took me some time to build up patience too, especially when you ain't seen no deer. And I'm sitting like, but my son has gotten into this deer hunting. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take him bow hunting tomorrow. And hopefully he gets that old heart pumping and all that. And he likes it. But eventually I got to wear his ass down and get him to fishing. Now, here's where I'm going to get my revenge on his ass, because I spent a ton of money on that kid for travel ball and ball gloves and bats and special football helmets and all that. I mean, dropped stupid money that I shouldn't have, and I regret every bit of it. But I got a grandson coming on the way. It's going to be born in January, and I'm going to make that little shit love fishing, just so Trey has to take him fishing. He's going to have 2 choices. Trey's going to have to learn to appreciate fishing, or he's going to have to let me take him. So that's what's going to happen. That's how I will get my revenge. I can't stand kids, Robert Blesky. Good grief. Carson Fowler, I didn't get into fishing or hunting that much until I was 20. I didn't get into hunting until I was 20, about 19. And the reason being is my dad didn't like to hunt. What's up, Ed, on TikTok? My dad didn't like to hunt. Now, he let me fish, and he bought me, guns that I could shoot squirrels and turtles with, because he didn't want turtles in his pond. But he wasn't a deer hunter, and he wouldn't let me go deer hunting. So once I started dating Amanda, before we got married, her dad was a hunter, and I went with him. He just taught me everything I know about hunting with him. But I didn't start hunting until later. Fred Ashcraft, 3 adult sons. They're eat up with hunting and fishing. Thank goodness. Yeah, dude, listen. I get it. That's good. I will get my revenge on Trey, and I'm gonna make him listen to this episode, because Maddox, he's already said that's what he's gonna name his boy, is Maddox. So I'll say Mad Dog. All right, Mad Dog, you wanna go fishing? And I'm gonna make Trey take his ass fishing. I don't care if he plays football, baseball, because Trey played all that stuff. But I don't care. I'm gonna make sure that grandson of mine fishes, just to make my son grit his teeth. And he's either got to get with the program and start enjoying fishing, or I'm going to get to spend a ton of time with my grandboy. Let's see. Carson saying my dad wasn't into it at all, and I didn't get big into it until about 7 years ago. They got cleaned up. That's right. Carson said, if it's a slow morning, I'm out about 10 too. I get it. Get you a dough and make some summer sausage. I'm going to stack them. They better not show up in front of me. Now, hey, listen, I miss having land to hunt on. I got lucky, and one of our fine sponsors has some land in Milton, Fulton County, where the big ones run, that I'm getting to hunt on. But let me tell you, you guys are on TikTok. If you're on TikTok, you've seen those tide weed stands. You go in, and even though it looks like it's solid material, you can see out of it on 3 sides. They're all over TikTok. Everybody was trying to sell them on their shop and all that. Well, my wife bought one. Last year, we never used it. So I took it out and put it up on this land. And I will say this. It's actually pretty neat to be able to sit in that stand and actually on three sides, actually be able to see, even with the little things closed. I thought they might be these cheap little things. And granted, they are. There's much more expensive blinds. But that little Tidewee thing, it's actually pretty cool. And yes, Carson, I am going to take it to North Georgia Deer Processing. I asked the guys on FNGO Hunting for a processor, and every one of them said the same thing. North Georgia Deer Processing. So that's what's going to go. With kids, you win, and if they look at you and say, Dad, you were right. I won about 5 years ago. For sure. Yeah, 100%. I got 3 youngins. My youngest is all about fishing. The other 2 could care less. At least you got one. You got one out there. My dad never took me. Grandpa took me hunting and fishing, got me into sports. My grandfather is my male role model because my dad had time for everything else but bonding with me. And you know what, dude? Like, that does happen a lot. You're not alone with that. You can be present as a dad and be just as absent as if you took off and left the day they were born. So 100%, dude. I hate you had to go through that, but at least you were blessed to have a grandfather that invested time in you. So that's awesome. Jeremiah says, I'd like to hunt, but sitting in a tree stand waiting for hours doesn't sound the most interesting. But see, Jeremiah, it actually is. Because if you'll slow down a little bit and just listen, it's actually pretty cool. Girl dad here, and both mine love hunting and fishing. Good for you, Kyle T. You're doing it right, man. You're doing it right. It wasn't a giant 9 or 10 point, but it was a good first buck for sure. I guess you said up in the comments earlier about getting that. Listen, now if you're one of them guys that shoot a big buck on your very first deer, you screwed yourself. Because then that's what you thought, that's your expectations. And that don't happen a lot. Alex says, I'm back. Don't be hating on the kayak. No, I wasn't hating on the kayak. I was hating on that one guy. Captain J. Morgan said, I bought one of those blinds last year. Love it. Ain't it cool? Listen, I thought it would be some kind of gimmicky thing, but no, it's actually a pretty cool blind. I'm letting my son hunt out of my Summit. I put him up a Summit because I'm too old and fat to be climbing in that thing. I'm in that blind, and I like it. And I'm telling you, I'm in some gnarly stuff too, dude. Like gnarly stuff. But I bet you the damn mosquitoes are going to like it just as much as me. The only thing I'm worried about is, like, when you get in the morning, I'm going to shine that thing, make sure a snake didn't get in there with me. Wow, just caught a 4-pound largemouth on a Buka trick shad I bought last night on the Oconee River. Don't be mad. I'm not mad, dude. I'm happy. I'm happy for you. Get you some ground chorizo. Best chorizo you'll ever have, Carson Fowler said. North Georgia Deer Processing. Okay, dude. I'll do that. I did not know this. Let me cranking for bass. I'll get that real quick, but let me jump on Captain Morgan's. Tidewee and Piscifun, which is fishing, is the same company. I did not know that. See, you taught me something. Very interesting. Cranking for bass. What's the best lake in North Georgia to go catch a bass over 5 pounds this weekend? My answer will be Rocky Mountain PFA if you want a largemouth. Rocky Mountain PFA in Rome. Now, if you're wanting, that's a smaller lake. The big lakes, it's up for grabs. Smaller lake, if I was trying to go target a 5-pound bass, I'd go to Rocky Mountain PFA. 100%. Now, you might go up there and absolutely just not catch a fish, but if you do start catching them, they're going to be there. And I will say I've probably seen more 5-pounders caught out of that than any other, I don't know, electric only tournament. I know, let's see, Tim White, Justin Reynolds, I've said this before. I think they went up there one day. Their best 5 was 37, right in that area, something like that. The biggest fish I've caught in a tournament in the last 5 years, I caught it at Rocky Mountain. It was like 7 3/4. So there are a lot of bass in those lakes between the 5 and 8 pound range. 5 and 8 pounds. There is a ton of bass there. Are you going to catch one every time you go? No, but if you get on them and they're hitting, you can do that. So that would be my guess would be Rocky Mountain PFA. You guys, if you got a different one, throw it out there in the comment section. If you got a lake where you think you can go, not counting a farm pond, but like a public lake, where would you go to catch a 5-pound bass? 100% I'd go to Rocky Mountain PFA. My dad didn't show up to his granddaughter's first birthday either. Well, dang, dude, I'm sorry. I hate that. Say, listen, I don't want to say, I hate to say it happens, but it does happen. And that's a little more often than people know. But listen, you're still blessed to have your grandfather to invest that time. Sounds like swim bait fishing for me years ago. The very first one was a 5-pounder and the second one too. And then it was downhill ever since, the amount of money and time I put into swim baits and glides. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, listen, it happens every year. You'll see it on the pages on Facebook. Somebody's going to take their wife hunting for the first time. She's going to absolutely drop a 12-pointer. Happens every time. Or the other time it happens is if you take somebody to your club and you stick them in a stand because they've never deer hunted before, and you put them in a stand and say, hey, now, I know they're going to see a bunch of does. If you see a nice doe, you can harvest it. Yeah, that 10-pointer, that 12-pointer is just going to decide to walk out that day. It just, I mean, Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law. Or if you're in a hunting club and you got a buddy and he's got that one friend that you just can't, they just kind of, your spidey senses tell you that they're not good people, you just can't stand. But because club rules allow you to bring a guest and all that, and your buddy brings that guest is going to kill the big deer. Every time. Guys that hunt in clubs and all that, they know what I'm saying. I need someone to come sit with my wife Sunday from 7 to 2 so I can go fish in Tom Oswald. She had a fall like that. 7 to 2. Dude, look, just get her an iPad. Get her an iPad. One of them big-ass Stanley drink coolers with 2 gallons. Put her in some sweet tea or something. Give her a remote and a bedpan. I think you can make 7 to 2. As long as she's got that bedpan. I don't know that you would win Husband of the Year award or anything like that. But it is doable. Summit tree stands are the deal. I like Summits. There's some really good ones out there. Truer words have never been said about first deer. I'm telling you, those women kill nice ones because he doesn't use his 2 tags. Okay, Tony, you're right. You're right. But that's the way it happens, right? It's always that. Just, I don't know why. Man, my lady can drive me nuts. But, I like that but right there. Key word in that sentence, but. She will go fishing with me, and she hunted with me every weekend last year. Fishing can be frustrating with all the tree fish that she catches, but it's cool when she goes. Yeah, I mean, Messick, we're talking about deer hunting and fishing with our significant others right now. Tony, you ain't kidding. Tony says, just kidding. Like, you ain't kidding. I don't think I want to be in the woods with my wife and a gun. I'll leave it there. Stranger things have happened. I'll just leave it right there. And I love her and she loves me. But she's at that time in a woman's life. And you guys that are older know what I'm talking about. Where you got to sleep with one eye open. You got to watch the shadows behind your back. Check your food. Get your kid to eat your food first. You guys know what I'm talking about. Because they can get away with it. And I love my wife. And I know she loves me. But it's just that time. You older guys know what I'm saying. Me or my wife gets the bigger either way. It's going in my freezer. 100%. Jeremiah said, just got started at the lake testing some new JDM lures, and the first 2 fish are a 2 and a 4-pounder. Haven't been here 15 minutes. Sounds like you're in the right spot. Sounds like you're definitely in the right spot. My lady is just happy I won't be able to bang around the house at 5 a.m. every Saturday getting ready to fish. But now I'm banging around on crutches going to pee, Coleman. Listen at you. My lady. Oh, I love how you talk like you're like 50. I hope you're feeling better, though. And I hope she's taking good care of you. There's the one person that cares less about big deer, always kills the biggest bucks, for sure. Allie hasn't been on the water with me since our daughter was born. I miss it. Alex, you put that there just so you can have proof that you said that. We know deep down in you want to fish by yourself. It's okay, dude. It's okay. We get it. I'm just kidding. I get it. I understand. Listen, my wife doesn't fish with me. She doesn't like it. And we've shared the story. You guys know why she don't fish with me. So I have to I just have to understand that. And you know what? As I get older, here's a great thing about marriage. When I was young, if I wanted to go hunting or fishing or do something, my wife would be like, you got to go do that. It's always more important. La da dee, la da da. And now we've reached the age where on a Saturday, if I'm home, she's like, ain't you got a fishing tournament or something to go to? Ain't you got somewhere to be? So we talked about what makes a successful life. I think getting that far in marriage, and we were talking about that last night. I think getting to that point in marriage where the wife is like, don't you need to go fishing? Or ain't you got to go hunting? Or we sure could use some more deer meat. Get to it. The property we hunted, she would sit in a separate stand, and I know she couldn't harm me, so we was good. Now, you're smart. You got to think about that. It's all about logistics at that point, right? I think it's amazing seeing the infants take their nice deer about halfway through the season. Seeing the infants. Yeah, it's kind of like they used to have this adult child hunt on Dawson Forest. Maybe they still do. And, there were those dads that always made sure they had 1 vacation or 2 vacation days left so that they could take the kid hunting. I know them. Now, okay, now not all of them, because the kid would shoot some deer. There'd be some kids that would harvest deer. But you guys know that dad I'm talking about. Kid's being drugged about 4 miles back into the woods. He's basically got him by the back of the shirt, just dragging. Oh, we're almost there. We're almost there. By the time to get there, the kid just wants his Game Boy. He's sitting there and hoping he's got signal at Dawson Forest just to play, do something. Dad's just sitting there watching. He's just looking. He's listening. Hey, I hear one. Kid don't even look up. Boom. Yeah, the kid shot it. I know a couple of those guys. Can't take mine. She gets seasick on boats. Doesn't like to be outside a real long time. And says if she's feeling something rolling and fighting at the end of a line, she's throwing the rod in the water. Well, then, Jeremiah, look, you got a free pass, man. You ain't got to worry about it. Mine has life insurance agent on speed dial. You know what, Danny? It's kind of true. My wife always asks if it's time to up the life insurance or things like that. That's always a real uncomfortable conversation, if we're being honest. Who wants to talk about life insurance with their wife? I don't, because I know she's counting the days down. She's figuring out what she can do with that money. And I'm one of those that's worth more dead than alive. So I know, trust me, I don't like to have that conversation. Cody said she shot at a doe with a muzzleloader and hit it, and we tracked a really good blood trail for the long time and never found it. Unfortunately, I was bummed for her. Would have been her first deer too. Yeah, those are tough. Fred Ashcraft, that's funny. You talking about the life insurance? True story, dude. The kid is just a decoy for green jeans. That's what I'm saying. That's that guy. Now, there's some places, and I think it still happens a little more up north, where the opening day, and in some states, the opening day of hunting season, like the kids get out of school. Like it's a holiday. They don't do that down here anymore. It's a holiday. I never got to experience that. I think that would have been pretty cool. Yeah, Jeremy, you know what I'm saying. There's a lot of us out there. A lot of us men out there are definitely worth more 6 feet under than alive. Messick says, I believe I have pushed mine to the limits. First time on a boat was Lake Hartwell, 17 degrees in January. There ain't no way on God's green earth that my wife would get on a boat and it'd be 17 degrees outside. No way. Ain't happening. Now, she actually wouldn't be as uncomfortable as I would be because she had thyroid cancer. And so she had her thyroid removed. And who the hell knew that the thyroid was the thermostat, amongst other things, for your entire body? So she's like she don't mind being cold. She can't get hot these days. She don't mind being cold. It can be 17 degrees and I'm out there all bundled up. She's out there in a tank top. It's totally weird how it happened. My dad would get a week off for school for deer season in Maryland. Tyler said that. Yeah, seriously. Oh, yeah. And Tony goes, one of the problems with taking your kid to be a decoy for Mr. Green Jeans, them little jokers can't lie to the game warden like they can to you. That's for sure. Kids say the darndest things at the most inopportune time. Also, going back to yesterday's lunch break, I didn't even realize that Red Man was called America's Best now. No wonder the Indian at the gas station didn't know what I was talking about when I said Red Man. Yeah, I don't even know when that happened. I just know it happened. Probably about the time they took Aunt Jemima off of whatever, all that stuff. Maybe when all that was going on. Probably about that time. I'm very lucky. Mine tells me to hunt and fish all the time, but when we're both off work, she'll go with me. But she's out on the 4 a.m. duck hunts. I would be too. 4 a.m., that's kind of early. Might have to grab her in the springtime and introduce her to crappie fishing or something, baby steps. Yeah, well, listen, Jeremiah, like, maybe, but you might be messing up a good thing, dog. Might be messing up a good thing. You never know. You never know. I will say this. My wife is actually a very good shot with the pew-pews. Like, just, I'm being very serious. Like, she's very accurate. Another reason to be scared. But she likes to do that kind of stuff. She'll get in the backyard with you and she'll do that. I tell her all the time, she's like, we don't spend no time together. I'm like, well, hell, if you like to fish or hunt, we would. You didn't know that, Tony, that it wasn't Red Man anymore? No, it's America's Best. But yeah, that argument doesn't work for some reason with my wife either. And I don't know why. We've had that argument. You don't ever want to spend no time with me. Well, hell, if you'd go with me hunting and fishing, we'd be together every daggone day. Another reason to be scared. For sure. Now I'm giving my wife a hard time. I mean, I'm not lying in anything I'm saying. I'm telling you the truth. I might be presenting it in a way for you guys to feel a little sorry for me, but it is the truth. It is the truth. I tried that argument. It doesn't work. So you guys, let me go ahead and tell you. If your significant other brings that up and you try well, if you like to fish or hunt, we'd be together all the time. No. Waste of time. You're wasting your time. Just let me go ahead and tell you, that does not work because it does not register in their brains. Now, if you want to go to Hobby Lobby, oh, yeah, you can spend more time with them in a Hobby Lobby. They love that stuff. Tell them to go sit in a blind with you for 2 hours? Nope. But you can look at every damn kind of thread and sewing stuff in a Hobby Lobby and then go buy you some of them fake decals and posters or whatever. Ooh, or let's get your Christmas stuff at 50% off in April. They love that stuff. They don't like going hunting. I don't know why. I tried it. Tell them to come cut grass with you. No, that works the other way around. My wife's like, ain't you going to cut the grass? My youngest was born on a Tuesday, and I fished a tournament the Friday night we came home from a hospital. That is peak male performance right there. That is peak male performance. That you can pull that off right there. You have my hats off to you. You have my respect. How many of y'all just enjoy seeing your old lady succeed in the outdoors? Now, first of all, if I go home and call my wife old lady, the only person going to be outdoors is me. Okay? You talking about Bass Pro, Lonnie Hill? No, I ain't talking about Bass Pro. Could be, though. Could be for sure. But he says, how many of y'all just enjoy seeing your old lady succeed in the outdoors? For me, I love seeing that smile when she's hooked up and she doesn't know what to do. Messick, how old are you? Honestly, before I even answer that, how old are you, Messick? You're a young kid, right? Of course, I thought somebody on here was a young kid and ended up being my age. So I had to check. Or watch those dang Hallmark Christmas movies. You know there's channels now that's year-round Hallmark Christmas. It's the same damn movie, just packaged 42 different ways. Always some stranger comes into town, falls in love with some woman who was done wrong somehow. All right, so Messick is 25, turns 26 next Thursday. If the good Lord doesn't take me, Messick, and I'm still around when you turn 50, I want to know if you still feel that way. Because eventually, y'all going to get in on each other's nerves. It's coming. It's coming. Messick, I love seeing mine succeed to the point it frustrates me when she won't listen to me on how to catch the fish that day. She just says, I'm just out here enjoying everything. And I know Tony's wife, and I can see that. My lady works for Homeland Security now as an agent. So if anyone should be scared, it's me. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I call mine old lady all the time. Listen, some of you, you're from Kentucky. It's probably still acceptable there. It was really cool when my girlfriend caught her first bass on the boat with me. And Tyler, what, you 19? See, you guys, I'm telling you, you guys will change. Mariah Carey is thawing out as we speak. Now, listen, no, hold on a second. I have a couple things in life that I'm not proud of that I've done and everything. And a couple things I don't like to admit and probably will never admit to. But I could watch Mariah Carey sing that Christmas damn song 365 days a year. To the point where this year I was watching it so much that my wife even got perturbed at me. It ain't about the song, boys. It ain't about the song. It's the video. Worst actors of all time in those dang movies, Alex Purse. Alex, those would be the movies like if you and I wanted to be actors, we would be like extras in those. You know what I'm saying? Just extras. What's up, Tiny Times? Jeremiah, oh yeah, they'll shop you to death. You know how many clothes still with tags she's got and shoes still new in the box? You know what I do when I get in trouble? And I haven't gotten in trouble in a long time. But like if I got in really, really big time trouble, high-end purses. High-end purses. If you want to see how many times I got in trouble, come to my house. There's a door. And when you open that door, there is October 1996, February 2001. I mean, I can name them. I can date them. All them purses. I didn't even know what a nice purse was until I started getting in a lot of trouble. But I figured out they like that leather. They like those purses. Danny, it's so relaxing to listen to you talk while I'm out here. You have no idea how much I listen to FNGO while I'm fishing. John, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the kind words. And I question your sanity. Mariah does not need to stay frozen. I only call mine if only call mine that it'd be one time. That's what Tony said. How many summers do you have left? I'm 53. Let's see. If we go by history, on my dad's side, my grandfather on my dad's side died at 61, I think. My dad died at 59. Both of his brothers died at 60, 59, 60. So that's my dad's side. Now, the only thing that I got that looks like my dad is his damn receding hairline right here. Now, on my grandfather's side, on my mama's side, we're a lot alike. We even have the same birthmarks. Now, he was almost 80. So I'm really banking on mama's side coming in strong on the genetics. When I hit 61, boys, we're going to throw a party. All of you guys are going to be invited. It's going to be like a decadent party, like one of those I'm going to have to go to church and repent. If I hit 61, boys. So, but if, just depends. I don't know. I ain't guaranteed the next 2 minutes. So I have no idea how many summers I got. But I'm going to enjoy the hell out of them. Let's say. Danny, that's a lot of crazy in one Christmas song. Well, if crazy is above the waist and below the chin, yes, sir, it is. If Danny was in a movie, I feel, the background music would be bow chicka bow wow. No, dude. No, listen, I'm old. Ain't no bow chicka bow wow stuff going on here. I don't even know what kind of music there'd be. Like elevator music. If Danny was a movie, it'd be elevator music. Something, either that or it'd be some kind of pop music. I don't know. I've never thought about that. What's the soundtrack to your life? I buy swim baits. My wife buys purses for trade, I think. Sure. Oh, yeah. I bought the purses because I stayed in trouble. Guys, I'm serious. I didn't know what a Dooney and Burke was. Good Lord, I learned that. And I don't know. I listened to them. But there's been several times I've just gone into the store. This is no lie. Truth. I go up to the purse section, and you got that woman. You've seen them. They're just kind of sitting there. They're kind of like, may I help you? Hell yeah, ma'am, I'm in trouble. Like, I really pissed my wife off big time. I need a purse. Which one would you recommend? Then you got to get into that. Well, what did you do? Well, I don't want to tell you. It's kind of ugly, but yeah. But you tell them. I think this pink Denny and Burke would be just fine right there for the emotional trauma that you caused your wife. Well, how much is it? It's $422. Hell yeah, I'll take it. Let's go. And that's exactly what happens. Trust me, I'm not lying. That's exactly what happens. I've done that before. I have really honestly gone in there and said, I have pissed my wife off and I need a purse to make things better. What do you recommend? Sunday will be, and I've been married 30 years. It'll be 31 years in my next anniversary. And I love my wife. She is way better than I deserve. Sunday will be 23 years for us, and I have to add another purse to her collection. You get it. And she has her own closet for purses. You guys, I don't know if you know it or not, but Thornton right here, Kevin on the Livewell on Thursday nights, his wife has a safe, a purse safe. Bougie. Now, it ain't because Kevin's been in trouble. Kevin's one of those that just, he's in love. Not that I don't love my wife. Excuse me. Let me make sure I clarify that. But Kevin, listen, Kevin goes all out for Miss Terry. We're all going to die tomorrow. We just don't know which one. No limits. Absolutely, Captain Morgan. Tyler Shellnut. So far, flowers do the trick to amend things. I can only assume it will become more intricate and expensive. You think? You think? Dude, the flowers quit working. You can do the flowers, and you better go ahead and pay attention to what color the flowers are. Like, don't send a woman yellow roses if she is like your woman. Because I found out yellow roses is more like a friendship kind of color. Well, who the hell knew that shit? I didn't know that. But you better pay attention to that. But yeah, flowers don't work. Cards don't work. Jewelry, purses, vehicles, cruises, those kind of things. Yeah, it's going to get more expensive. And you can't just go buy flowers at the Publix either. When you're buying flowers at a grocery store and you bring them home, that lets her know that your ass didn't put a lot of thought into it. You need to go to an actual florist. You know what I'm saying? Don't do the Publix thing, even though Publix roses are nice. That lets them know if you come in and they see it in that certain wrap, like, yeah, well, he just went by the grocery store and got me flowers. It don't work. When they get older and they get smarter, to your game, man. They'll figure it out. Dude, I hate to say it, but I know everything about purses. But I look at it as an investment. Yeah, they don't go down in value. Sounds like your wife and the purse lady are friends too. Actually, one of them was. Yeah, that was when I first started getting in trouble. I didn't know that, but lucky for me, I always get red roses. Yellow roses is a sign of friendship. It worked the first 2 times. It's going to quit. Mine used to fuss at me for going to the florist and getting flowers, so then I started going to Kroger, and I still get fussed at for spending too much. You tried it right the first time. Now flowers are that random thing you do before you know you're going to mess up. That's right. You got to butter them up, get them ready. Call the florist and have them sent to her job. Works 2 or 3 times. I had pulled that off. That is successful because, again, logistics. Because the flowers are delivered in front of all her coworkers, and they're all like, "Oh, your husband's just so sweet. He must love you. That's so nice of him." It's almost too like opening the car door. Like you only do that when her coworkers are around because they're like, "Your husband opens up the car door for you. That is so sweet of him." But what they don't know is I'd like to slam that damn thing a little quick. I'm trying to set it up, time it right. I just don't time it right. My wife's going to kill me when I get home after this one. I might not get to go hunting, boys. I might not get to go hunting. But it's Friday. What the hell? Let's let it rip. This is what y'all do. But the flowers with the vase, at first, the only way you have to spend $10. Oh, get them with the vase. Get the vase. And then just put the flowers in every so often. Yeah, I got that. That's being a cheap ass. It works, especially if there's chocolate with it. Yes. The marketing geniuses have sold it to them before we even get to the store. Now you've got no choice but to buy it or else you don't love her. For sure. Patricia Leanne Shaw, you're guilty of something. My guilt knows no boundaries. I'm praying for you, Danny, when you see your wife later. Now, listen, I ain't said nothing that ain't true. She'll tell you. Get in trouble, come home with a purse. I'm not bad. I'm just basically I've learned all this from 30 years of marriage, in which when my wife said for better or for worse, she meant it. And I thought the preacher said you got to make it worse for her. And I went, I do, I will. No, seriously, I've grown up, kind of. But back in the day, listen, and that's why my wife told my uncle, if I die, this is a true story. She told my uncle, if I die, do not let Danny marry again, because I have spent 30 years fixing his ass, and now I got him right, and I don't want to have another woman come in and benefit from all my hard work. My wife told my uncle that. So, and listen, some of us ain't got no FNGO money. Dude, they ain't no FNGO money. Here's FNGO money. Those cameras, yeah, they ain't no FNGO money. There's FNGO debt. I will say 8 years in, if I'm around mine, never. Okay, let me read this again. I will say 8 years in, if I'm around mine, never opens the truck door. Just something about it to me. So I guess you're saying you don't open the door. I guess that's what you're saying. Your wife sounds like a good woman, one of them you can't let go. Or that, or she'll beat the shit out of you. My wife's tough. When I met her, she's a brawler, dude. She's a little older now, getting ready to be a granny. But yeah, no, she scares the shit out of me. That's funny. 30 years of training. Yeah, true story. She told my uncle that. Don't you let him remarry, because no woman is going to benefit from all my hard work. This is the hands down the best podcast ever created. I don't know about that. Your standards are really low, Messick. No, I always open the truck door. Yeah, okay, I got you. You didn't make it that clear in the first one. My wife and I have been together 18 years, married 15. We've been through it. That's for sure. I need to write a book. It should be Danny Pruitt's What Not to Do to Have a Successful Marriage. What not to do. This is the most entertaining podcast of all time for good Lord, guys. Listen, I ain't even pulled up my Theo Vaughn stuff. Oh, yeah, grandma can kill a grizzly with a stare. Listen, yeah. Yeah, I think my wife would be like one of them like Marvel heroes or something, whatever the hell that my kids watch. That shit just comes out of their eyes. That's my wife. She can do that. All right, hour and a half in. We got to get some stuff done. Call it Marriage for Dummies. Marriage for Dummies, written by a dummy. I married out of my league, guys, for sure. I am blessed. We're all blessed to have the women that we got. Because honest to God, seriously, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. I wouldn't know what to do. She's the glue. Absolutely. When I tease and I joke and all that, and it's funny and we can make it funny and all that. But honest to goodness, no way I could function. I hope I go before my wife goes, because I would not be able to function 100%. She is absolutely, and she, you know what? She wants to be on the podcast. I won't forget your flukes, Alex. She wants to be on the podcast, and I won't let her do it. There's no way in hell I'm bringing her on here, because it's one of two things is going to happen. She's either going to make fun of me naked, or tell you guys things that I don't want her telling you about, or we're going to end up getting in a fight right here on camera, and it might be ugly. Pontoon Jody, I don't feel good. I ate my own cooking. Well, damn, Pontoon Jody. What did you cook to make you not feel good, if you don't mind me asking before I get off of here? I agree with Messick. I look forward to this daily. Been dealing with some mental stuff recently, and this genuinely helps. So thank you, Danny, and everyone in the comments too. Cody, that's why we're here, my man. That is, I mean, listen, this is exactly the guys that come in the shop that are, close enough. What you hear right here is exactly how we talk in the shop. This is just an extension of if you came in here and you sat down, and you can reach out to me at any time with anything if we're not doing this. If we're not live, reach out to me. And that goes for all you guys. You all guys know that. We family here. Hope all y'all have a good weekend with a full Livewell and whistling strings. I want to hear that boom when you throw it. I married right the second time. Ex-wife tried poisoning me once. I cook all my own food now, for sure. Pinto beans, cornbread, corn, and macaroni. I should have ate out. No. That's good stuff. I'll tell you what I do with pinto beans before I get off. I like to slop stuff. I'm a slopper. Pinto beans, take my cornbread, crush it, and make sure it's got a lot of butter on it. And crush it all up onto the pinto beans. Take an onion and chop it up in a bunch of pieces. Throw that all in there. Mix that stuff all together. Have my macaroni and cheese right there. Sometimes I throw the macaroni in there, but if not, I make sure it's close enough so when I scoop up some macaroni, I get some pinto beans, butter, cornbread, and an onion. And I am like a pig in shit. Love you too, Geiger. Appreciate you guys. Shell crackers for supper. That ought to be some good stuff. I definitely wish I lived closer, but enjoy the feel. Feel welcome when I do get to come up there for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I love when you come up here. You and your motorcycle. I can't cook from the frying pan straight to the garbage can. Now, Pontoon Jody. Come on now. Come on now. No, cameraman Cletus wouldn't like that. He wouldn't like that diet for sure. I think I'm going to run this weekend and get my smallmouth fixed. And I was supposed to be a shoal bass again. Might have a new addiction. Yeah, do it. Go. Absolutely. Just go do something. Pontoon Jody, I just got to ask. If you want to have that right and you don't want to make yourself sick, just go to the store and get you some pre-seasoned pinto beans. I don't know if you cooked your pinto beans from scratch, but just get you the pre-seasoned stuff. What is it, Lux or whatever? An onion, cornbread. How do you mess up cornbread other than you burn it? I don't understand. Just keep trying. Eventually you'll do right. You'll do all right. I got faith in you. If you can catch big catfish, you can cook some cornbread and pintos. I'm saying, hell, I'm getting hungry right now just thinking about that. Anyway, all right, I'm going to go. I got stuff I'm supposed to be doing. I could talk to you guys for 8 hours a day, but we can't do that. Don't pay the bills. So anyway, listen, if you're out on the water, if you're seriously out on the water, you're hunting, be safe because I always want to make sure you guys get back to the next one. Enjoy your weekend. Spend some time with your wife. Oh, get some just joined in late. Broke my first rod this morning pulling a fatty up through cover. Hey, listen, did you land the fish? If you landed the fish, the rod don't matter. I would love to be breaking a rod, pulling in a big fish, big fatty right there. But you guys have a great weekend. Spend some time with your wife. Just be safe. Enjoy life. We'll come back. We'll be here Monday. We'll be here next Monday at 12. I think for the Livewell next week. I think I'm going to get Ryan and Jonathan Farmer in here on Tuesday night, kind of an old school throwback episode with them too. And I'm sure we'll talk jigs and stuff or something like that. That's what I'm planning on. We'll have to see if it works out. And then I think next Thursday night, we're going to try to do like a Grass Lake Gunnersville episode, just changing it up a little bit. So anyway, but you guys know 12 o'clock every day next week, we'll be right here. So I appreciate you guys spending some time with me. Hope you had a good time. Hope it made the day go by a little bit faster, and I hope you're on the downhill side of things and you get home soon. So you guys be good. I'll get rid of my YouTube guys first. Y'all be good. See you later.